The 1950s were a decade when American automakers let imagination lead the way, engineering cars with groundbreaking technology, lavish materials, and features that often exceeded what buyers needed or expected. It was an era defined by experimentation, when complexity and bold ideas took center stage. From air suspensions to retractable steel roofs and early fuel injection systems, these machines weren't just built, they were crafted to dazzle, regardless of cost or reliability. Number 25. 1951 Kaiser Deluxe Manhattan. The Kaiser Deluxe Manhattan was a full-size sedan that stood apart from its contemporaries by prioritizing structural integrity and passenger safety over flashy styling or raw performance. Built on a 118.5-inch wheelbase and stretching just over 210 inches in length, the Manhattan had generous proportions that placed it squarely in the family sedan category. Its body construction utilized heavy-gauge steel panels and extensive spot welding, resulting in a chassis that was more rigid and overbuilt than necessary for the performance it delivered. With a curb weight of around 3,200 pounds, the car rode solidly, absorbing road irregularities with a quiet composure uncommon in domestic cars of the early 1950s. Powering the Manhattan was a 226 cubic inch inline-six engine with a flathead or L-head configuration. This side-valve engine produced approximately 115 horsepower at 3,650 revolutions per minute and around 195 pound-feet of torque. While not a performance engine by any measure, it was robust and engineered for longevity, featuring a cast-iron block and forged internals. The engine was mated to either a 3-speed manual transmission or an optional 4-speed hydromatic automatic, an advanced transmission for the time that offered smoother acceleration and reduced driver fatigue. The suspension system consisted of independent coil springs at the front and semi-elliptic leaf springs supporting a solid rear axle. This setup provided a comfortable ride, especially when paired with the car's ample weight and sound-deadening materials. Braking was handled by hydraulically actuated drum brakes at all 4 wheels, each with an 11-inch diameter, which gave the Manhattan commendable stopping power. The steering was recirculating ball type, providing predictable if somewhat numb feedback, typical of American sedans in that era. Where the Manhattan truly set itself apart was in its forward-thinking safety features. It came standard with a padded dashboard, recessed switchgear, and safety glass windows designed to minimize injury during impact. The windshield was engineered to eject outward in the event of a crash, an unusual and forward-thinking design choice. Optional seatbelts were offered, a rarity in 1951 and a feature that wouldn't become widespread for more than a decade. While other automakers emphasized chrome and tail fins, Kaiser focused on structural durability and occupant protection. The Deluxe Manhattan didn't chase horsepower or aggressive styling. Instead, it delivered quiet sophistication and engineering that arguably exceeded what was necessary for its class. In doing so, it embodied the very essence of over-engineering. Number 24. 1958 Continental Mark III. The Continental Mark III represented one of the most elaborate expressions of American automotive engineering in the late 1950s. Developed under the Lincoln division of Ford Motor Company, the Mark III was more than just a luxury sedan. It was an engineering statement meant to rival Cadillac and European high-end Marquez. Built on an entirely new unibody platform, the Mark III was among the largest unit-body production cars ever made in the United States. It measured a massive 227 inches in overall length, nearly 80 inches wide, and tipped the scales at approximately 5,100 pounds in curb weight. This enormous mass required a robust chassis and powertrain to manage its bulk. Under the hood, the Mark III was equipped with a 430 cubic inch Mel Series V8 engine, producing an estimated 375 horsepower and a staggering 510 pound-feet of torque. This engine featured a 4-barrel carburetor and a 10.5-to-1 compression ratio, providing effortless propulsion despite the car's enormous size. Mated to a heavy-duty 3-speed turbo-drive automatic transmission, power delivery was smooth and linear. The drivetrain used a conventional rear-wheel drive layout with a heavy-duty driveshaft and rear axle assembly, optimized for torque delivery and highway cruising. The suspension system reflected the car's engineering ambition. Up front, it employed independent coil springs with unequal-length arms and hydraulic shock absorbers, while the rear used a live axle with leaf springs and telescopic dampers. The ride quality was tuned for maximum comfort, isolating road imperfections through a combination of soft spring rates and thick bushings. Braking was managed by large 12-inch drum brakes on all 4 wheels, operated through a power-assisted hydraulic system that provided decent stopping force for a vehicle of this size. Power steering came standard, along with a turning circle that exceeded 45 feet, making low-speed maneuvering cumbersome but acceptable for its class. Inside the cabin, over-engineering was on full display. The Mark III featured power-operated front and rear windows, 6-way power seats, automatic headlight dimmers, and a power lubrication chassis system known as Auto Lube, which automatically greased key suspension and steering components at set intervals. The climate control system was one of the most advanced in any domestic car, with integrated heating and ventilation ducts that wrapped around the entire cabin. Materials included real chrome, deep pile carpeting, and heavy padded leather, contributing to both weight and opulence. Although its unibody design was forward-thinking, it also required extensive reinforcement, resulting in a platform that was both heavy and costly to produce. The car's complexity and manufacturing expense ultimately limited its profitability. Still, the 1958 Continental Mark III remains a lasting example of American over-engineering at its most ambitious, combining sheer size, mechanical complexity, and luxury in a way few cars ever have. Number 23. 1957 Dual Ghia. The Dual Ghia was one of the most exclusive and over-engineered automobiles of its decade, blending American muscle with Italian craftsmanship in a way that was as costly as it was complex. Built in extremely limited numbers, just over 100 units across its brief production span, the Dual Ghia began life in the United States using Dodge's D500 chassis and drivetrain components, but its body and interior were hand-fabricated by Carrozzeria Ghia in Turin, Italy. Each chassis was shipped from Detroit to Italy, where artisans shaped the sheet metal panels by hand, sculpting them into sleek convertible bodies before returning the cars to the United States for final assembly. This transatlantic production process not only inflated costs, but introduced levels of fit, finish, and detailing that far exceeded what was standard for American cars in the late 1950s. Powering the Dual Ghia was Dodge's proven Red Ram V8 engine, a 315 cubic inch hemispherical head V8 producing approximately 230 horsepower. With its high compression ratio and solid lifter camshaft, this engine delivered smooth, refined power across the rev range. It was paired with a 2-speed PowerFlight automatic transmission that prioritized seamless shifts over aggressive performance, reflecting the Dual Ghia's role as a boulevard cruiser rather than a track weapon. The car featured rear-wheel drive and a conventional live axle setup, but despite its traditional American underpinnings, its on-road behavior was notably more refined due to its relatively low curb weight, around 3,800 pounds, and low center of gravity. Suspension was standard for the time, with independent front coils and rear leaf springs, though ride quality was exceptional thanks to precise tuning and balanced weight distribution. Drum brakes at all 4 wheels were power-assisted and offered above-average stopping capability for the period. Steering was a recirculating ball type, assisted by power hydraulics, allowing for surprisingly nimble handling in urban environments. Although performance metrics like 0 to 60 acceleration hovered around 10 seconds, the Dual Ghia was never about raw numbers. It was about delivering an effortless, smooth driving experience and supreme comfort. The interior was one of the most luxurious of any American-affiliated car of the era. Each cabin was tailored to its buyer, often featuring hand-stitched Italian leather, deep pile carpeting, real wood veneer accents, and a level of coach-built detailing more commonly found in Bentleys or Maseratis. Advanced amenities for the time included power windows, an electric clock, and custom-fabricated instrumentation with aircraft-style switchgear. No two dual Ghias were exactly alike, adding to their mystique and over-engineered appeal. With a sticker price exceeding $7,500, the 1957 Dual Ghia stood as a handcrafted luxury vehicle that prioritized aesthetic precision and exclusive design over production practicality. Its elaborate manufacturing process, lavish materials, and low-volume exclusivity made it a true icon of over-engineering in the golden age of American automotive indulgence. Number 22. 1951 Hudson Hornet. The Hudson Hornet was a marvel of structural engineering, setting itself apart with a revolutionary step-down chassis design that emphasized safety, handling, and road holding in ways that few competitors could match at the time. Unlike traditional body-on-frame construction, the Hudson utilized a monobuilt unitized body frame structure, where the floor pan was recessed between the frame rails, effectively lowering the center of gravity without compromising ground clearance. This engineering choice not only enhanced stability and ride comfort, but also gave the Hornet an advantage in handling that would prove dominant in racing throughout the early 1950s. With an overall length of around 208 inches and a wheelbase of 124 inches, the Hornet was a full-size sedan that sat lower to the ground than its rivals. Its curb weight hovered around 3,800 pounds, contributing to a planted, heavy feel on the road. The car featured an independent front suspension with coil springs and upper and lower control arms, while the rear used semi-elliptic leaf springs and a solid axle. Combined with hydraulic lever-type shock absorbers and a stiffened chassis, the suspension system offered precise, stable handling rarely seen in its class. Under the hood, the Hornet came equipped with a robust inline-six engine, displacing 308 cubic inches, which was the largest six-cylinder engine available in any American production car at the time. In standard form, the engine produced approximately 145 horsepower, but Hudson offered an optional twin-H power setup, which added dual carburetors and boosted output to around 160 horsepower. With this configuration, the Hornet could accelerate from 0 to 60 in just over 12 seconds, a remarkable feat for a full-size sedan in the early 1950s. The engine's flathead design favored torque over top-end speed, making it particularly well-suited for the high-banked oval tracks where the Hornet earned its reputation. The braking system used four-wheel hydraulic drum brakes, which provided consistent and predictable stopping power for the car's weight. The steering was a worm and sector type, fairly typical for the era, though the car's low center of gravity helped compensate for the lack of precision. Interior appointments were generous, with broad bench seats, wool upholstery, and a dashboard layout that emphasized clarity and simplicity. Although not loaded with futuristic gadgets, the Hornet's structural innovations and racing credibility made it a high point in intelligent automotive engineering. The Hudson Hornet's over-engineering was not in gimmicks or gadgetry, but in its chassis architecture and powertrain durability. It was a car that looked conventional but hid beneath its sheet metal, a framework that changed the way American sedans could drive. In an era when flash often won over function, the 1951 Hornet proved that good engineering could dominate both the road and the racetrack. Number 21. 1954 Nash Ambassador. The Nash Ambassador was a bold exercise in engineering sophistication, offering features and design choices that were far ahead of their time. Built on a unibody platform, the Ambassador was structurally rigid and quieter than most body-on-frame contemporaries, thanks to extensive sound insulation and tightly integrated body panels. At over 210 inches in length and riding on a 121-inch wheelbase, it was a full-size sedan with proportions that rivaled many luxury cars of the period. Its curb weight approached 3,700 pounds, a reflection of both its robust structure and comprehensive standard equipment. Under the hood, the Ambassador came equipped with a 252 cubic inch inline-six engine, which was essentially a bored-out version of Nash's reliable six-cylinder block. It produced approximately 130 horsepower and was paired to either a 3-speed manual transmission with optional overdrive or a hydromatic automatic borrowed from General Motors. The engine emphasized smoothness and efficiency, featuring a 7.6-to-1 compression ratio and a Carter single-barrel carburetor. Though not a performance car, its driveline was tuned for quiet operation and relaxed cruising, consistent with Nash's luxury-oriented mission. What made the 1954 Ambassador truly over-engineered was its pioneering climate control system. Nash was the first American automaker to offer a fully integrated heating, ventilation, and air conditioning unit mounted under the hood. Branded the all-weather eye, this system combined functions that were typically split across trunk-mounted evaporators and dashboard-mounted heaters in other cars. It used a compact compressor, evaporator, and heater core all housed within the engine bay, feeding ducted airflow through the dashboard, a streamlined and elegant solution that eliminated the need for aftermarket components. The Ambassador suspension setup featured independent coil springs and tubular shocks up front, with a live axle and leaf springs in the rear. Ride quality was smooth and stable, aided by the car's solid construction and well-tuned spring rates. Braking was handled by hydraulic drums at all four corners, with optional power assist to reduce pedal effort. Steering was recirculating ball, and though somewhat vague at high speeds, it was typical for cars of this size and class. Inside, the Ambassador was fitted with wide bench seats, optional reclining front seats that could form a bed, and rich upholstery choices including broadcloth and leather. Though Nash lacked the flash of other automakers, the 1954 Ambassador's technical ambition made it a quiet standout in American automotive engineering. Number 20. 1959 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. The Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz was the ultimate symbol of post-war American excess, engineered and styled without restraint. As Cadillac's most expensive open-top model that year, the Biarritz was more than just a luxury car, it was a monument to over-engineering. Built to impress with its sheer size, opulence, and mechanical complexity. Measuring an immense 225 inches long and 80 inches wide, the Biarritz rode on a 130-inch wheelbase and weighed nearly 5,000 pounds in convertible form. Its massive proportions were matched by equally massive ambitions under the hood. Power came from Cadillac's 490 cubic inch V8 engine, the largest displacement of any American production car at the time. This engine featured a 10.5-to-1 compression ratio and was equipped with triple two-barrel Rochester carburetors in a tri-power arrangement. It generated an impressive 345 horsepower and over 470 pound-feet of torque, delivering effortless acceleration and highway cruising despite the car's substantial mass. The engine was mated to a 4-speed hydromatic automatic transmission, which was smooth shifting and well matched to the power plant's torque-rich nature. The Eldorado Biarritz used a coil spring suspension at all four corners, independent in the front and with a 4-link setup in the rear. While air suspension was no longer standard as it had been in previous years, the traditional coil setup still offered a smooth, floating ride typical of Cadillac's reputation. Braking was handled by power-assisted 12-inch drum brakes on all four wheels, providing adequate stopping force for the car's considerable heft. Power steering came standard and was finely boosted to ensure light effort at the wheel, even during low-speed maneuvers. What truly elevated the Biarritz into over-engineered territory was its exhaustive list of standard equipment. Power windows, power seats, power trunk release, electric door locks, remote-controlled mirror, cruise control, signal-seeking radio, and automatic headlight dimming were all included without requiring optional packages. The convertible top was fully power-operated and included a hard boot cover for a seamless, clean look when retracted. The interior was upholstered in genuine leather with deep pile carpeting, chrome accents, and an abundance of insulation to maintain cabin quietness. Visually, the 1959 Eldorado Biarritz was unforgettable, with the tallest tail fins ever fitted to a production vehicle, dual bullet taillights, and an overwhelming use of chrome. But beneath the spectacle was a well-engineered platform designed to deliver comfort, power, and prestige. It may not have introduced groundbreaking new technology, but in terms of complexity, craftsmanship, and sheer extravagance, it was among the most over-engineered American cars of its decade. Number 19. 1950 Crosley Hotshot. The Crosley Hotshot was a tiny American sports car that punched well above its weight class in engineering ambition. Measuring just 148 inches in length and riding on an 80-inch wheelbase, the Hotshot was minimalist in appearance but surprisingly advanced underneath. Weighing under 1,400 pounds, it was one of the lightest cars in production at the time, yet it featured technologies that wouldn't become mainstream for decades. At its heart was Crosley's Cobra engine, a 44 cubic inch inline-4 that used an overhead camshaft, a rarity in American automotive engineering during the early 1950s. This engine, originally designed for military applications, had a novel copper-brazed steel block and a single overhead cam operating the valves through rocker arm. It produced around 26 horsepower at 5,000 revolutions per minute, which may seem modest, but in a car weighing so little, it provided sprightly performance and surprising agility. Power was sent to the rear wheels through a 3-speed manual transmission with a floor-mounted shifter, giving the Hotshot an engaging and direct driving experience. What truly set the Crosley Hotshot apart was its braking system. It became the first American production car to feature 4-wheel disc brakes, using Goodyear Holley caliper-type units developed from aircraft technology. This gave the Hotshot exceptional stopping power and fade resistance compared to the drum brakes used on virtually all other domestic cars at the time. Though the disc system proved costly and was replaced by drums within a year, its presence on the 1950 model marked a milestone in American automotive design. The suspension consisted of a simple but effective live axle with semi-elliptic leaf springs in the rear and an independent front suspension with transverse leaf springs. The chassis was rigid for its size, and the car's low weight allowed for nimble cornering and responsive handling. Despite lacking power steering or power brakes, the Hotshot's direct mechanical layout made it highly communicative on the road. Inside, the cabin was Spartan, with minimal instrumentation and basic bucket seats, but every detail was functional and focused on lightness. With no doors and removable side curtains, it leaned more toward track car than luxury runabout. Though only a few thousand Hotshots were built, one famously won the Index of Performance at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1950, showcasing its remarkable efficiency and engineering. The 1950 Crosley Hotshot stands as a compact example of American over-engineering, lightweight, technically innovative, and bold in a market dominated by bulk and tradition. Number 18. 1957 Pontiac Bonneville. The Pontiac Bonneville was a landmark in American automotive engineering, introducing advanced performance technology and luxurious standard features in a package that dramatically redefined the Pontiac brand. Released as a limited edition halo car, the Bonneville was built in extremely small numbers, only 630 units, each fully loaded and individually numbered. At a time when fuel injection was still a radical concept, the Bonneville became one of the first American production cars to feature it as standard equipment. Under the hood was a high-compression 347 cubic inch V8 engine fitted with a Rochester ramjet mechanical fuel injection system. This setup delivered approximately 310 to 315 horsepower, depending on tuning, and allowed the car to accelerate from 0 to 60 in under 9 seconds, an extraordinary figure for a full-size convertible in 1957. The engine's 10-to-1 compression ratio, solid lifter camshaft, and high-flow heads made it one of the most advanced power plants of its time. Mated to a 4-speed, high-dramatic automatic transmission, the drivetrain offered both refinement and urgency, reflecting Pontiac's new performance-oriented image. The Bonneville shared its platform with the Star Chief, but featured heavier-duty components, reinforced chassis bracing, and a unique suspension tune. Up front, it used independent coil springs with hydraulic shock absorbers, while the rear suspension employed leaf springs with heavy-duty dampers. The ride was plush but well-controlled, a balance made possible through extensive suspension tuning and increased torsional rigidity. Braking was handled by finned aluminum drum brakes at all 4 corners, which helped dissipate heat and improve stopping performance over conventional steel drums. The Bonneville came fully equipped with power steering, power brakes, power windows, power seats, a power-operated convertible top, and even a signal-seeking radio with an electric antenna. This level of standard equipment was unmatched by most rivals and reflected an engineering ethos that spared no expense. Visually, the Bonneville featured unique two-tone paint schemes, abundant chrome, and exclusive badging. But its technical substance is what truly justified its status. With a base price of over $5,700, the 1957 Pontiac Bonneville was not intended for mass-market appeal. It was a rolling showcase of mechanical sophistication, built to redefine what Pontiac could be. By fusing advanced fuel delivery, luxury features, and high performance in a single model, the Bonneville earned its place among the most over-engineered American cars of the decade. Number 17. 1953 Oldsmobile Fiesta. The Oldsmobile Fiesta was a limited production, ultra-luxurious convertible that served as a technological and stylistic showcase for the brand. Positioned as a top-tier specialty model above even the already well-appointed 98 series, the Fiesta was built to display Oldsmobile's engineering capabilities and design vision at a time when General Motors was pushing the boundaries of post-war automotive innovation. With only 458 units produced, the Fiesta was rare, exclusive, and notably over-engineered for a car that shared its platform with mainstream full-size sedans. The Fiesta was powered by the same engine found in Oldsmobile's performance flagship, the Rocket V8. Displacing 304 cubic inches, the overhead valve V8 produced around 165 horsepower, which was a strong output for a luxury convertible in 1953. It was mated to a 4-speed hydromatic automatic transmission that provided smooth, reliable shifts and enhanced drivability, particularly for long-distance touring. The powertrain's durability and refinement made the Fiesta both powerful and comfortable, even under full load. Structurally, the Fiesta rode on a 125-inch wheelbase and measured over 216 inches in length, with a curb weight approaching 4,300 pounds. Suspension consisted of independent coil springs with upper and lower control arms up front and semi-elliptic leaf springs in the rear, paired with hydraulic shock absorbers for a compliant and well-damped ride. Power-assisted drum brakes were standard at all 4 wheels, offering adequate stopping power for such a heavy, feature-laden vehicle. Inside, the Fiesta's cabin was a study in craftsmanship and innovation. It featured a unique 2-tone leather interior with special trim, deep pile carpeting, and a fully padded dash. Power windows, power seats, a signal-seeking radio, and an electric antenna came standard, as did the Autronic Eye, GM's automatic headlight dimming system, which was extremely rare for its time. The attention to detail extended to the exterior, which included brushed stainless steel belt-lined trim, special Fiesta badging, and a wraparound windshield borrowed from GM's Motorama Dream Cars. With a sticker price of over $5,700, approximately 70% more than a standard Oldsmobile convertible, the 1953 Fiesta was never meant to be a high-volume model. Instead, it served as a rolling demonstration of how far Oldsmobile could go in terms of design complexity, engineering, and luxury. Its advanced features, custom build quality, and limited production make it a textbook example of over-engineering from the golden age of American automotive excess. Number 16. 1953 Buick Skylark. The Buick Skylark was a hand-built, limited production convertible created to celebrate Buick's 50th anniversary and to showcase the brand's engineering and styling capabilities at their peak. Introduced as part of General Motors' prestigious Dream Car lineup for 1953, the Skylark was built on the Roadmaster chassis but underwent extensive modification that resulted in a vehicle far more bespoke and refined than its production siblings. Only 1,690 units were produced, each crafted with an attention to detail that pushed it into over-engineered territory. Powering the Skylark was Buick's all-new nailhead V8 engine, displacing 322 cubic inches. This overhead valve engine was Buick's first modern short-stroke V8 and produced approximately 188 horsepower, a significant improvement over the straight eights it replaced. It was paired with Buick's Dynaflow automatic transmission, which emphasized smooth, seamless acceleration rather than quick shifting. The engine's compact design allowed it to sit lower in the chassis, improving both handling and appearance, and it featured a 4-barrel carburetor, 10-to-1 compression ratio, and improved thermal efficiency. Structurally, the Skylark used a shortened Roadmaster convertible chassis, with the windshield lowered by several inches and the side windows chopped for a more dramatic profile. The doors were shaved of their traditional framing, requiring special tooling and fitment for the glass and seals, while the rear wheel openings were opened up completely, unlike the fender-skirted look typical of Buick models of that era. These design changes were not cosmetic alone. They required extensive re-engineering of body panels, support structures, and weather sealing, making each Skylark semi-hand-built and labor-intensive. The suspension system included independent front coil springs and rear semi-elliptic leaf springs, with hydraulic shock absorbers and an anti-roll bar for enhanced stability. Power-assisted drum brakes at all 4 corners provided solid stopping performance, and power steering came standard, ensuring light and easy maneuverability for such a substantial vehicle. The Skylark's curb weight was around 4,300 pounds, reflecting its substantial build and rich features. Inside, the Skylark was trimmed in top-tier leather upholstery with custom stitching, full carpeting, and chrome-plated interior accents. Power windows, power seat, power convertible top, signal-seeking radio, and white-wall tires were all standard, leaving nothing to be added. The instrument panel was redesigned with a unique layout and specialty badging, while the steering wheel was color-keyed to the interior trim. Priced at over $5,000 in 1953, the Buick Skylark was not intended for mass-market sales. Instead, it stood as a symbol of Buick's engineering ambition, with hand-fitted panels, a pioneering V8, and luxury features that together made it one of the most over-engineered American cars of the decade. Number 15. 1957 AMC Rambler Rebel. The AMC Rambler Rebel was a groundbreaking car that combined muscle car performance with compact car packaging, an unusual and over-engineered approach for a brand known more for economy than speed. Produced by the newly formed American Motors Corporation, the Rebel was based on the Rambler 4-door hardtop body, but equipped with AMC's largest available engine, creating one of the earliest true performance sedans in American automotive history. It was also the first mass-produced American car to attempt electronic fuel injection, which, although not successful in execution, represented a bold leap into advanced automotive technology. Under the hood sat a 327 cubic inch V8 engine, AMC's first high-compression V8, producing 255 horsepower in its carbureted form. It featured a 10-to-1 compression ratio, solid lifters, and a Carter 4-barrel carburetor as standard equipment. Mated to a 3-speed flash-o-matic automatic transmission with push-button gear selection, the Rebel could accelerate from 0 to 60 in under 8 seconds, making it faster than most full-size cars and even rivaling some sports cars of the era. This level of performance in a mid-size 4-door sedan was almost unheard of in 1957. AMC had originally planned to equip a small batch of Rebels with the Bendix Electrojector electronic fuel injection system, which would have made it the first American production car to feature EFI. The system used manifold pressure, temperature sensors, and an analog computer to deliver precise fuel metering, a marvel of engineering for its time. However, reliability issues and cold weather performance failures caused the company to cancel EFI at the last minute, and all production Rebels were instead delivered with carburetors. Despite this, the mere attempt demonstrated AMC's willingness to invest in over-engineered solutions that were years ahead of the industry. The Rebel's chassis utilized a reinforced unibody structure, giving it added torsional rigidity and weight savings compared to body-on-frame rivals. The suspension included independent front coils with a sway bar and rear leaf springs, offering a balance of ride comfort and handling stability. Drum brakes were used all around, though power assist was optional. Steering was recirculating ball and relatively light, aided by optional power steering on higher trims. Visually, the Rebel featured unique silver and black paint schemes, special badging, and full wheel covers, setting it apart from the standard Rambler line. Inside, the cabin was well appointed for its class, with reclining front seats, two-tone upholstery, and advanced instrumentation. The 1957 Rambler Rebel didn't just prefigure the muscle car era, it proved that technical ambition and performance could coexist in a mid-priced, compact American sedan. Number 14. 1958 Packard Hawk. The 1958 Packard Hawk marked the swan song for the storied Packard brand, emerging as one of the most over-engineered and polarizing cars of its time. Based heavily on the Studebaker Golden Hawk 400, the Packard Hawk was mechanically identical in many respects, but featured unique styling elements, lavish interior trim, and brand-specific enhancements that set it apart. Only 588 units were produced, making it one of the rarest Packards ever built and a final attempt to position the brand as a maker of exclusive, high-performance luxury cars. Powering the Hawk was a Studebaker-built 289 cubic inch V8 engine, enhanced with a McCulloch centrifugal supercharger to produce approximately 275 horsepower. This forced induction setup gave the relatively compact coupe impressive acceleration for the era, with a 0 to 60 time under 10 seconds and a top speed exceeding 120 miles per hour. The engine was mated to a Borg-Warner Flight-O-Matic 3-speed automatic transmission with a column-mounted shifter, providing smooth and responsive gear changes. Despite its smaller displacement compared to rivals, the supercharged V8 gave the Packard Hawk real performance credibility. The chassis was shared with the Studebaker President and featured a reinforced frame and unique suspension tuning. Up front, it employed independent coil springs with unequal length arms and hydraulic shocks, while the rear utilized semi-elliptic leaf springs and a live axle. This setup offered a comfortable ride and competent handling, although the car's relatively high, nose-heavy weight distribution required careful suspension calibration. Power-assisted drum brakes were standard, and power steering was included, ensuring ease of control in tight or low-speed driving conditions. What elevated the Packard Hawk into the realm of over-engineering was its distinctive bodywork and extravagant interior. The fiberglass front end featured a wide, shovel-like grille flanked by unique quad headlights and a bulging hood scoop, while the rear deck was accentuated with tail fins and stainless steel trim. The roofline was borrowed from the European-inspired Studebaker Hawk coupes, but the overall aesthetic was more flamboyant and complex. Inside, the car was upholstered in genuine leather with metallic accents, padded dash, full carpeting, and a dashboard inspired by aircraft design, including a full suite of gauges and toggle switches. With a base price nearing $4,000 in 1958, the Packard Hawk was a niche luxury performance car that merged exotic styling, forced induction, and interior indulgence. Though it was not a commercial success, the 1958 Packard Hawk remains a prime example of late 50s over-engineering, bold, intricate, and unapologetically ambitious. Number 13. 1957 Studebaker Golden Hawk. The Studebaker Golden Hawk was a bold and innovative American car that combined lightweight design with high-performance engineering, positioning itself as a pioneer of what would later be called the muscle car segment. Based on the Champion body shell but extensively reworked for performance, the Golden Hawk was distinctive for its powerful supercharged V8 engine and sporty styling cues that set it apart from Studebaker's more conventional lineup. Only about 4,500 units were produced in 1957, making it a rare but influential car. Under the hood, the Golden Hawk featured a 289 cubic inch V8 engine equipped with a Paxton McCulloch centrifugal supercharger, which boosted output to an impressive 275 horsepower. This powertrain gave the relatively compact car a remarkable power-to-weight ratio, allowing it to accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 8 seconds, blistering performance for a mid-50s American car. The engine used a 4-barrel carburetor as part of the supercharging system and operated with a compression ratio around 8:1 to maintain reliability under boost. Power was delivered to the rear wheels through a 3-speed manual transmission with an optional overdrive or a Borg-Warner Flight-O-Matic automatic. The Golden Hawk rode on a 112-inch wheelbase, which was relatively short compared to other full-size cars of the era, contributing to its nimble handling characteristics. The chassis employed independent coil spring front suspension with unequal length control arms and hydraulic shocks, while the rear suspension used semi-elliptic leaf springs with hydraulic dampers. This setup provided a balance of ride comfort and precise handling uncommon in American cars of the time. Braking was handled by large drum brakes with power assist, adequate for the car's spirited performance. Styling-wise, the Golden Hawk had a distinctive presence thanks to its deep front grille, bulging hood scoop, and sleek two-door hardtop coupe silhouette. The interior was well appointed for its class, featuring vinyl upholstery, chrome trim, and a simple but functional dashboard with a full set of gauges. Options included white wall tires, tinted glass, and a signal-seeking radio, enhancing comfort and convenience. Priced competitively yet delivering performance, rivaling some of the era's best muscle cars, the 1957 Studebaker Golden Hawk represented an ambitious blend of engineering and style. Its use of a supercharged V8 and a relatively light body was revolutionary for American cars of the period and set the stage for later high-performance models from other manufacturers. The Golden Hawk remains a classic example of over-engineering in the 1950s, showcasing Studebaker's commitment to innovation despite its smaller size and limited resources. Number 12. 1954 Kaiser Darrin 161. The Kaiser Darrin 161 was a striking and innovative American sports car that pushed the boundaries of design and engineering in the post-war era. It was the brainchild of automotive designer Howard Dutch Darrin, who envisioned a sleek fiberglass roadster that combined modern styling with advanced construction techniques. The Darrin 161 was notable not only for its futuristic looks, but also for its pioneering use of fiberglass as a structural body material, beating Chevrolet's Corvette by several months to market. Underneath its distinctive styling, the Kaiser Darrin was powered by a newly developed Kaiser F-head 6-cylinder engine, displacing 161 cubic inches, hence the model's numeric suffix. This power plant produced around 90 horsepower, modest by sports car standards, but adequate given the car's relatively light weight of just over 2,000 pounds. The engine featured an overhead intake valve and a side exhaust valve, a design aimed at improving breathing and performance. Power was delivered to the rear wheels through a 3-speed manual transmission, which was praised for its smooth and positive shifting. One of the most remarkable engineering features of the Darrin was its unique sliding pocket doors, which retracted horizontally into the front fenders rather than swinging out like conventional doors. This innovative mechanism not only gave the car a clean, uninterrupted side profile, but also solved the problem of tight parking spaces and curbside access. The doors were made of aluminum and required complex engineering to function reliably, making them one of the era's most distinctive and over-engineered features. The chassis consisted of a sturdy ladder frame with independent coil spring front suspension and semi-elliptic leaf springs at the rear, providing a comfortable yet controlled ride. Hydraulic drum brakes at all four wheels offered reliable stopping power, while steering was by recirculating ball mechanism, ensuring manageable handling despite the car's sporty intentions. The wheelbase measured 110 inches, and the overall length was about 172 inches, giving the car a compact and nimble footprint. Inside, the Darren featured a minimalist but elegant cabin with leather upholstery, basic instrumentation, and a fold-down windshield that added to its roadster appeal. The lightweight fiberglass body was hand-laid, requiring significant craftsmanship and making production slow and expensive. This contributed to the car's limited production run of just under 400 units, as the high cost and complex construction limited its commercial success. Despite its brief production life, the 1954 Kaiser Darren 161 remains a remarkable example of American automotive over-engineering. Its innovative use of materials, unconventional door design, and bold styling make it a standout in the decade's automotive history. Number 11. 1953 Chevrolet Corvette C1. The Chevrolet Corvette C1 marked the beginning of America's first true mass-produced sports car and was a remarkable example of over-engineering and innovation for its time. Introduced as a concept in 1952 and launched into production the following year, the Corvette was a bold experiment by General Motors to compete with European sports cars, especially those from Italy and Britain. What made the 1953 Corvette stand out immediately was its revolutionary use of an all-fiberglass body, a material choice that was virtually unheard of in automotive manufacturing during the early 1950s. The fiberglass body panels were hand-laid and molded to create a lightweight, rust-resistant shell that helped keep the car's curb weight down to approximately 3,000 pounds. Despite its light body, the Corvette rode on a solid steel frame, providing the structural rigidity necessary for performance and safety. The chassis featured an independent front suspension with coil springs and a live rear axle suspended by leaf springs, a typical setup for American cars of the era but tuned for more spirited driving. Four-wheel drum brakes were standard, offering adequate stopping power for the Corvette's modest early performance figures. Under the hood, the initial 1953 Corvette was powered by a 235 cubic inch inline-six engine known as the Blue Flame. This overhead valve six-cylinder produced a modest 150 horsepower when paired with a 3-speed manual transmission, which was relatively modest compared to European sports cars but adequate for the car's lightweight design. The engine was mated to a 2-barrel carburetor and featured mechanical lifters, making it both reliable and relatively easy to maintain. Despite these specifications, early Corvettes struggled with performance and refinement, leading to rapid development improvements in subsequent years. Inside, the 1953 Corvette featured a minimalist cockpit with bucket seats, a simple instrument panel, and a removable soft top or optional hardtop. The interior was designed for driving engagement rather than luxury, with basic gauges and controls arranged for quick driver access. Although early build quality was sometimes inconsistent, the Corvette's innovative materials and engineering made it a unique American sports car at a time when such vehicles were rare. The 1953 Corvette's groundbreaking fiberglass body was a technical leap that influenced automotive manufacturing for decades to come. While it wasn't an immediate commercial success, it set the foundation for Chevrolet's iconic sports car lineage and proved that American automakers could produce advanced, over-engineered performance cars. The Corvette remains an enduring symbol of innovation and ambition from the early 50s. Number 10. 1958 Chrysler Imperial. The Chrysler Imperial was a flagship luxury sedan that showcased some of the most advanced engineering and technology available in American cars of the late 1950s. As Chrysler's top-of-the-line model, the Imperial was designed to compete directly with Cadillac and Lincoln, offering a combination of cutting-edge features, high build quality, and sophisticated styling. The 1958 model year was particularly significant because it introduced autopilot, the first commercially available cruise control system, making the Imperial a pioneer in automotive convenience technology. Under the hood, the Imperial was powered by Chrysler's mighty 392 cubic inch Hemi V8 engine. This overhead valve V8 produced approximately 325 horsepower, a robust figure that gave the heavy luxury sedan ample power for effortless cruising. The engine was mated to Chrysler's 3-speed TorqueFlite automatic transmission, renowned for its smooth shifting and durability. The powertrain combination ensured that the Imperial delivered both performance and refinement, befitting its luxury status. The Imperial rode on a long wheelbase of 121 inches, which contributed to a spacious interior and a smooth ride. Its body measured just under 212 inches in length and weighed nearly 5,000 pounds, underscoring the substantial presence the car had on the road. The chassis featured a unibody construction with extensive use of sound-deadening materials and vibration isolators, enhancing passenger comfort and minimizing road noise. The suspension system included torsion bars up front and leaf springs in the rear, designed to balance ride softness with competent handling for a car of its size. The braking system utilized power-assisted drum brakes on all four wheels, with large fin drums to aid in heat dissipation during heavy braking. Steering was a recirculating ball type with power assistance, providing easy maneuverability despite the car's weight and size. Chrysler also incorporated the autopilot system, which used a vacuum-operated mechanism linked to the throttle and brakes to maintain a steady speed without driver input, a technological marvel of its era. Inside, the 1958 Imperial was richly appointed with premium materials such as leather upholstery, hand-rubbed wood trim, and thick carpeting. Power-operated seats, windows, and vents were standard, along with dual air conditioning systems to ensure passenger comfort. The dashboard featured a comprehensive array of instruments and controls, including a signal-seeking radio and an Autronic eye headlight dimmer that automatically adjusted beam intensity. Priced among the highest in the American market, the 1958 Chrysler Imperial exemplified over-engineering with its blend of power, technology, and luxury. Its advanced features, particularly the introduction of cruise control, foreshadowed future trends in automotive convenience and driver assistance. As such, the Imperial remains a significant milestone in American luxury car history. Number 9. 1958 Buick Limited. The Buick Limited was the pinnacle of Buick's lineup, representing the brand's highest level of luxury, craftsmanship, and advanced engineering. As an ultra-luxurious flagship model, the Limited combined imposing size with an array of sophisticated features that showcase Buick's commitment to over-engineering and opulence during the late 1950s. With an overall length approaching 19 feet and a curb weight exceeding 4,800 pounds, the Limited was a grand cruiser designed to impress both in presence and technology. Powering the 1958 Buick Limited was a robust 463 cubic inch nailhead V8 engine. This overhead value engine, V8, was capable of producing roughly 370 horsepower when paired with the optional dual 4-barrel carburetors, providing smooth, powerful acceleration appropriate for such a large and heavy vehicle. The engine was connected to Buick's flight-pitch Dynaflow automatic transmission, a complex yet refined torque converter design intended to deliver seamless power delivery and a nearly uninterrupted acceleration curve. Though the Dynaflow's smoothness was admired, it was mechanically intricate and could be considered over-engineered compared to simpler transmissions of the era. One of the most notable technical features available on the Limited was the optional AirPoise air suspension system. This air suspension employed compressed air to provide a self-leveling, adjustable ride height, and superior shock absorption, a highly advanced and rare feature in 1958. The system could automatically compensate for load variations, maintaining a smooth and stable ride regardless of passenger or cargo weight. This technology anticipated the adaptive suspension systems that would become common decades later. The chassis rode on a massive 122-inch wheelbase and used a body-on-frame construction typical of the time, but Buick engineered the frame and suspension mounting points with exceptional rigidity and precision. The front suspension featured independent coil springs with unequal length control arms and an anti-roll bar, while the rear used leaf springs tuned for comfort and load-bearing. Power-assisted drum brakes on all four wheels provided stopping power, aided by large fin drums for better heat dissipation during heavy use. Inside, the 1958 Buick Limited was appointed with premium materials, including thick pile carpeting, rich leather upholstery, and polished chrome accents. Power accessories were standard, including windows, seats, and door locks, while the dashboard featured advanced instrumentation and a signal-seeking AM radio. The car also included luxury touches such as a full-length center console and optional air conditioning with dual controls. Priced at the top end of Buick's range, the 1958 Limited represented the brand's vision of a technologically sophisticated luxury car. Its combination of powerful performance, advanced suspension technology, and plush appointments made it a standout example of 1950s American automotive over-engineering. Number 8. 1957 Mercury Turnpike Cruiser. The Mercury Turnpike Cruiser was an ambitious showcase of futuristic design and advanced engineering features, positioning Mercury as a brand that embraced innovation and luxury in the mid-50s. This full-size hardtop coupe was part of Mercury's effort to compete with the Big Three's luxury divisions by offering not just size and power, but a host of technological conveniences that were ahead of their time. The Turnpike Cruiser's combination of bold styling, high-tech gadgets, and powerful performance made it one of the most over-engineered American cars of 1957. Beneath its expansive hood, the Turnpike Cruiser was powered by a robust 383 cubic inch Lincoln Y-Block V8 engine. This overhead value engine V8 produced approximately 300 horsepower, which was impressive for the era and gave the large coupe confident acceleration and highway cruising capabilities. The engine was paired with a 3-speed Mercumatic automatic transmission, which featured a push-button gear selector mounted on the dashboard rather than the steering column or floor. This layout was unconventional and contributed to the car's futuristic aura. One of the Turnpike Cruiser's most innovative features was its breezeway power rear window. This vertically sliding rear window could be lowered electrically to improve cabin ventilation without the need to open the side windows, reducing wind noise and turbulence for passengers. The rear window's operation was controlled via a switch inside the cabin, making it a unique and practical design element that was both stylish and functional. This feature was a significant departure from conventional automotive window designs and was an early example of climate-conscious innovation. The windshield was another standout aspect, featuring a large compound curve that wrapped around the front corners of the car. This complex glass shape required advanced manufacturing techniques and contributed to improved driver visibility and an airy, open feel in the cabin. The car also included power-adjustable front seats with memory settings, called the Seat-O-Matic system, which allowed drivers to store preferred seating positions electronically. For 1957, this was an extraordinary convenience feature, especially in a mass-produced car. Adding to its technological allure, the Turnpike Cruiser was equipped with an early form of trip computer, which could calculate fuel consumption and mileage. Although primitive compared to modern systems, it demonstrated Mercury's commitment to integrating advanced instrumentation and driver aids. The interior featured premium materials, including leather upholstery, chrome accents, and a dashboard packed with gauges and switches, reinforcing its high-tech image. At nearly 200 feet in length and weighing around 4,500 pounds, the 1957 Mercury Turnpike Cruiser was a large and complex automobile. Its blend of powerful performance, innovative features, and distinctive styling make it a quintessential example of 1950s American over-engineering and forward-thinking design. Number 7. 1958 DeSoto Adventurer. The DeSoto Adventurer was an ambitious attempt by Chrysler's DeSoto division to blend high performance with luxury, and it stood out notably for its use of cutting-edge electronic fuel injection technology. Powered by a 345 cubic inch Hemi V8, the Adventurer was capable of producing around 345 horsepower, a significant figure for the era that emphasized power without compromise. What made the 1958 Adventurer truly over-engineered was its adoption of the Bendix Electrojector electronic fuel injection system, one of the first attempts at EFI in American production cars. The electrojector system used an electronic control unit to precisely meter fuel delivery through electrically operated injectors, replacing the traditional carburetor setup. This allowed for more efficient combustion, better throttle response, and the potential for improved fuel economy and emissions control, features far ahead of their time in the late 1950s. Unfortunately, the technology was still in its infancy and prone to reliability issues, especially in varying temperature and humidity conditions, leading to inconsistent drivability and performance. As a result, most 1958 DeSoto Adventurers were retrofitted with conventional 4-barrel carburetors shortly after purchase. The Adventurer's powertrain was paired with Chrysler's TorqueFlite 3-speed automatic transmission, known for its smooth shifts and durability. The combination of the high-output Hemi and advanced transmission provided strong performance, with acceleration competitive among high-performance American cars of the period. The engine featured hemispherical combustion chambers, a hallmark of Chrysler's engineering excellence, which improved airflow and combustion efficiency. On the chassis front, the Adventurer rode on a 120-inch wheelbase and a sturdy body-on-frame platform. The suspension system used torsion bars in the front and leaf springs in the rear, tuned for a balance of ride comfort and handling stability. Drum brakes with power assist were fitted all around, adequate for the car's weight and performance capabilities. Steering was a recirculating ball system with power assistance, ensuring ease of maneuvering despite the Adventurer's substantial size and weight. Styling for the 1958 DeSoto Adventurer was bold and aggressive, featuring prominent tail fins, a wide front grille, and distinctive dual headlamps. Inside, the car was luxuriously appointed with high-quality upholstery, plush carpeting, and a dashboard equipped with a full array of gauges and controls. Power accessories such as windows, seats, and brakes were standard or optional, aligning with the car's premium positioning. Though the 1958 DeSoto Adventurer's electronic fuel injection was ultimately too advanced for its time, the car remains a fascinating example of over-engineering in the 50s. Its blend of cutting-edge technology, powerful Hemi engine, and luxurious appointments make it a unique and historically significant American performance car. Number 6. 1958 Chrysler 300D. The Chrysler 300D was a high-performance luxury coupe that pushed the boundaries of automotive engineering with its pioneering use of electronic fuel injection. Building on the success of its predecessors, the 300D featured Chrysler's formidable 392 cubic inch Hemi V8 engine, one of the most advanced power plants available in American cars during the late 1950s. What set the 1958 300D apart was its adoption of the Bendix Electrojector electronic fuel injection system, making it one of the first production cars worldwide to offer EFI technology. This fuel injection system replaced the conventional carburetor with an electronically controlled injector setup that allowed precise metering of fuel into the engine's combustion chambers. Theoretically, this offered improved throttle response, increased power output, and better fuel economy, which was groundbreaking for the era. The 300D's EFI system was capable of delivering around 370 horsepower, an impressive figure that contributed to the car's reputation as a banker's hot rod. However, the electrojector system was still experimental and suffered from reliability issues, including sensitivity to temperature changes and electrical faults, which affected drivability. Due to these problems, many 1958 300D owners had their EFI units replaced with conventional 4-barrel carburetors, limiting the system's long-term success. Paired with Chrysler's durable TorqueFlite 3-speed automatic transmission, the 1958 300D delivered smooth and powerful acceleration. The engine's hemispherical combustion chambers, a hallmark of Chrysler's engineering, improved airflow and efficiency, making the Hemi one of the most potent engines of its time. The 300D could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 7 seconds, a remarkable performance figure for a heavy luxury coupe in the late 1950s. The chassis featured a robust body-on-frame construction with a 120-inch wheelbase, providing stability and a comfortable ride. The suspension system used torsion bars at the front and leaf springs at the rear, calibrated for a balance of handling precision and ride comfort. Power-assisted drum brakes on all 4 wheels ensured capable stopping power, while the recirculating ball steering with power assist made maneuvering easier despite the car's size. Styling on the 1958 Chrysler 300D was both aggressive and elegant, featuring pronounced tail fins, quad headlights, and a wide grille that conveyed power and prestige. Inside, the cabin was richly appointed with premium materials, including leather upholstery and extensive chrome trim. The dashboard was outfitted with a full suite of gauges and advanced controls, befitting the car's high-end status. Though the 1958 Chrysler 300D's fuel injection system was ahead of its time and faced practical challenges, the car remains a landmark in American automotive engineering. Its combination of cutting-edge technology, robust powertrain, and luxury appointments make it a classic example of over-engineering in the 1950s. Number 5. 1956 Packard Caribbean. The Packard Caribbean was an exceptional luxury convertible that combined advanced engineering with exquisite craftsmanship, serving as one of the last great expressions of the Packard brand's commitment to innovation and quality. Designed to compete with high-end American luxury convertibles, the Caribbean featured a blend of powerful performance and sophisticated technology that set it apart in the mid-50s automotive landscape. One of the most notable technical achievements of the 1956 Caribbean was its torsion-level suspension system, a fully automatic self-leveling suspension that used torsion bars and hydraulic sensors to maintain ride height and improve handling regardless of load. The torsion-level system was designed to keep the car's stance level during acceleration, braking, and cornering, significantly enhancing ride comfort and driving stability. This advanced suspension was coupled with power-assisted drum brakes on all 4 wheels, providing strong stopping power for a car that weighed nearly 4,000 pounds. Steering was via a recirculating ball system with power assistance, ensuring smooth and responsive control despite the Caribbean's size and weight. Under the hood, the 1956 Packard Caribbean was powered by a robust 374 cubic inch V8 engine, which produced approximately 280 horsepower. This engine delivered strong torque and smooth power delivery, matched to Packard's Ultramatic automatic transmission featuring push-button controls on the dashboard, a futuristic feature that simplified gear selection. The Ultramatic transmission was known for its durability and smooth shifts, complementing the Caribbean's grand touring capabilities. The 1956 Caribbean's dimensions reflected its luxury status, with a wheelbase of 122 inches and an overall length exceeding 200 inches. The body was crafted with meticulous attention to detail, featuring elegant two-tone paint options, chrome accents, and a distinctive grille design that epitomized Packard's styling ethos. The convertible top was power-operated, adding to the car's list of convenient features. Inside, the Caribbean's cabin was richly appointed with premium leather upholstery, deep pile carpeting, and extensive wood trim. The dashboard was equipped with a full complement of gauges and controls, including an Autronic Eye, automatic headlight dimmer, and a high-quality AM radio. Power windows, power seats, and other luxury amenities were standard, underscoring the Caribbean's position as Packard's top-tier model. The 1956 Packard Caribbean remains an icon of over-engineering in the 50s. With its advanced suspension, powerful engine, and luxurious appointments, making it a standout luxury convertible. It represented the pinnacle of Packard's technological and design achievements during the brand's final years and remains highly prized among collectors and enthusiasts today. Number 4. 1957 Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner. The Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner was a groundbreaking achievement in American automotive engineering, introducing the world's first mass-produced retractable hardtop convertible. At a time when most convertibles featured traditional fabric tops, Ford Skyliner offered the security and style of a steel roof that could fold and stow away in the trunk at the push of a button. This innovative feature made the Skyliner one of the most over-engineered cars of the 1950s, admired for its mechanical complexity and visual spectacle. The retractable hardtop mechanism was an extraordinary feat of engineering. It used 7 electric motors, 10 solenoids, 4 locking mechanisms, numerous relays, and 11 switches to choreograph the roof's opening and closing sequence. The entire process took about 40 seconds and relied on over 600 feet of wiring. This intricate setup made the Skyliner both a technological marvel and a maintenance challenge, as even a minor fault in the system could halt the entire operation. Beneath the hood, the Fairlane 500 Skyliner was typically equipped with Ford's Thunderbird special V8 engine. The most powerful option was the 312 cubic inch V8, which could produce up to 245 horsepower when paired with a 4-barrel carburetor. This powertrain was mated to either a 3-speed manual transmission or Ford's Cruise-O-Matic automatic, providing respectable acceleration and smooth driving for a full-size car. The Skyliner rode on a 118-inch wheelbase and measured over 200 feet in total length, contributing to its impressive road presence. Its suspension featured independent coil springs at the front and leaf springs in the rear, tuned for comfort rather than sporty handling. Power steering and power brakes were optional but commonly selected, given the vehicle's size and weight, which exceeded 4,000 pounds. 4-wheel drum brakes were standard, adequate, but often taxed by the car's mass. Inside, the Skyliner was outfitted with stylish two-tone interiors, chrome accents, and bench seating for 6 passengers. Amenities included a push-button radio, heater, and optional air conditioning, elevating the car's comfort level to match its technical sophistication. The trunk space, while limited when the top was down, was cleverly designed to accommodate the retracted roof with minimal compromise. The 1957 Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner was a bold and dazzling display of over-engineering. Though expensive and mechanically intricate, it captured the public's imagination and remains a symbol of American automotive ingenuity in the 1950s. Its complex retractable hardtop was a glimpse into the future, even if it arrived decades ahead of its time. Number 3. 1958 Edsel Citation. The Edsel Citation was the top-tier model of Ford's ill-fated Edsel division, launched with great anticipation but remembered largely for its over-engineered features and controversial styling. Positioned above the Edsel Corsair, the Citation was offered as a 2-door or 4-door hardtop and convertible, representing the brand's attempt to fuse luxury, innovation, and performance in one ambitious package. At a time when American automakers were experimenting with new technologies and extravagant design, the Citation stood out for pushing boundaries, often to its own detriment. One of the most talked about features of the Edsel Citation was the Teletouch transmission system, an advanced push-button gear selector mounted in the center of the steering wheel hub. Unlike conventional push-button systems mounted on the dashboard, the Teletouch setup placed the controls where the horn button typically resided. This required an intricate electromechanical mechanism that turned with the wheel, making it one of the most complex and failure-prone systems of its kind. Though the concept was futuristic, in practice the Teletouch system proved unreliable, often confusing drivers and requiring costly maintenance. Under the hood, the Citation was powered by a powerful 410 cubic inch Mel Series V8 engine, producing 345 horsepower. This high-displacement engine delivered impressive torque and acceleration, especially for such a large and heavy car. Paired with a 3-speed automatic transmission, the powertrain was capable on paper, though the teletouch interface occasionally interfered with smooth operation. The Edsel Citation was built on a long 124-inch wheelbase and stretched over 225 inches in overall length. Its suspension system included independent coil springs in the front and leaf springs in the rear, with optional air suspension offered to enhance ride comfort, though this too was mechanically complex and prone to issues. Power steering and power brakes were standard, as were four-wheel drum brakes, which were adequate but sometimes overwhelmed by the car's weight exceeding 4,300 pounds. Inside, the Citation was richly appointed with premium fabrics, deep pile carpeting, and a dashboard packed with gauges, toggle switches, and a speedometer that rotated in a dome, a novel but hard-to-read design. Options included air conditioning, signal-seeking AM radio, and power seats, all aimed at reinforcing the Citation's luxury image. The 1958 Edsel Citation embodied the over-engineering ethos of the era, combining overly complex systems with bold, polarizing design. While its ambition was undeniable, the result was a vehicle whose technical excesses and design missteps overshadowed its innovations. Today, the Citation stands as a fascinating case study in the limits of engineering ambition during the extravagant 1950s. Number 2. 1956 Continental Mark II. The Continental Mark II was one of the most meticulously engineered and luxuriously crafted American automobiles of its era. Created as a halo car under Ford's newly revived Continental division, priced at nearly $10,000, the Mark II was an uncompromising statement of refinement and technical excellence. Ford's goal was to create a world-class Grand Tourer that could rival the finest European luxury cars, and to that end, no expense was spared in its design, engineering, and assembly. Under the hood, the Mark II housed a hand-assembled 368 cubic inch V8 engine borrowed from the Lincoln lineup but subjected to additional balancing and precision tuning to meet Continental's exacting standards. This power plant delivered approximately 285 horsepower and was paired with a turbo-drive 3-speed automatic transmission. Each engine was tested and individually certified before installation, a level of attention rarely seen in mass-produced vehicles of the era. The result was a powertrain that offered smooth, refined performance suited to the car's upscale character. The Mark II featured a heavy-duty perimeter frame chassis with a 126-inch wheelbase, giving it impressive road presence and composure. The suspension system utilized independent coil springs in the front and longitudinal leaf springs at the rear, tuned for comfort over sportiness. Power-assisted drum brakes at all four corners ensured confident stopping power, while power steering was standard to aid maneuverability. Weighing over 4,800 pounds, the car was heavy, but its precise build quality and mechanical refinement gave it a smooth and controlled ride. Every Continental Mark II body was painted multiple times and hand-sanded between coats to achieve a flawless finish. Body panels were hand-fitted to tight tolerances, and the underbody received extensive rust-proofing. Inside, the cabin was a showcase of American luxury, featuring Scottish leather upholstery, deep pile carpeting, and real walnut trim. Virtually every convenience was standard, including power windows, power seats, and a signal-seeking AM radio. Only around 3,000 Mark IIs were produced between 1956 and 1957, and Ford reportedly lost money on every unit sold. Yet the car served its purpose as a rolling testament to American craftsmanship and engineering prowess. The 1956 Continental Mark II remains one of the most over-engineered and elegantly built American cars of the decade, embodying the heights of post-war luxury and technical ambition. Number 1. 1957 Cadillac Eldorado Brougham. The 1957 Cadillac Eldorado Brougham was an extraordinary vehicle that embodied the peak of American luxury and over-engineering during the post-war era. Designed as a limited production flagship, the Eldorado Brougham cost more than double the price of a standard Cadillac and was even more expensive than many contemporary Rolls-Royces. Built by hand at Cadillac's Detroit plant, each unit was a rolling showcase of cutting-edge technology, unmatched craftsmanship, and opulence. Powering the 1957 Eldorado Brougham was a robust 365 cubic inch overhead value V8 engine producing 325 horsepower. It was mated to a 4-speed hydromatic automatic transmission, providing smooth and confident acceleration. The engine featured dual 4-barrel carburetors, helping to deliver strong performance to a car that weighed over 5,000 pounds. Despite its mass, the Eldorado Brougham was capable of brisk highway cruising and offered a level of refinement few other vehicles could match. One of its most advanced and over-engineered features was the air suspension system. This fully automatic setup replaced conventional coil or leaf springs with rubber air bladders that adjusted the ride height and provided an exceptionally smooth driving experience. Though conceptually brilliant, the air suspension system proved unreliable in practice, often leaking or failing after limited use, making it a notorious aspect of the car's complex engineering. The Eldorado Brougham also introduced several futuristic technologies, such as the Autronic Eye, automatic headlight dimmer, a memory power seat with 6-way adjustment, and an automatic trunk that opened and closed electrically. Inside, the car offered a refrigerator-like glove box stocked with a magnetized drinking tumbler, a vanity kit with cologne and perfume, and even a compartment for cigarettes and tissue. All 4 doors were equipped with electric locks, and the rear doors were suicide-style, opening from the rear for easier entry. Built on a 126-inch wheelbase, the Eldorado Brougham featured a stainless steel roof, further distinguishing it from other Cadillacs and adding to its production cost. Only 400 Eldorado Broughams were produced in 1957, making them among the rarest and most desirable Cadillacs ever built. Each car required extensive hand finishing, and the materials used were typically found only in the highest-end custom vehicles. The 1957 Cadillac Eldorado Brougham stands today as a symbol of unrestrained engineering ambition. With its combination of technological innovation, luxurious appointments, and hand-built precision, it represents the pinnacle of Cadillac's dedication to over-engineered excellence in the 1950s.